Hey everybody, how's it going? We're here at Otakon 2023. I'm with the lovely Bethan Walker. How are you doing today?
I am very well. How are you?
Good. Welcome to Otakon, your first, and hopefully you come back for many more. But as we just getting started this weekend, your emotions, your feelings getting into Washington, D.C. and being a part of this con this year?
It's huge. It's huge. It's there's been a lot of build-up, and I think the sheer size of it all has really hit me since I've got here. Even the walk from the hotel to here, just seeing the amount of people, the size of all the buildings, the size of the con. I've never been to one as big as this, so it's a lot to take in, but it's beautiful. Yeah,
Otakon's one of my favorite cons. If you ever come, folks, there's a convention side, there is a hotel side. It is massive. But you being here, and one person I also want to give a shout out to, who I'll get to talk to later, is Colin. It's good to see you two appear at the con this year. You two have been pretty much combined, hip and hip for a long time. How is it like to travel together, to have a friend like that, but also share many projects together?
Yeah. Do you know, we were texting this morning saying, I'm so glad you're here. I really am grateful. Like, it's weird that we were cast as twins. You know, we've been playing twins for a long time. But, you know, actors are human beings and we get nervous, and, you know, it's amazing to have someone to walk with, you know, to share this with. And I'll go home and explain this to other people and they won't get it because they weren't here. So, but Colin, you know, he's with me and he will be with me through it all, I imagine. So it's quite emotional. I'm really grateful for him. Really grateful. Yeah.
Final Fantasy, being a part of that family, with an iconic franchise that just continues to grow in every direction, too. Yes, we are here at, we have Final Fantasy XIV, but even previous Final Fantasy, you being part of the Final Fantasy XIV, just being a part of the Square Enix family, being part of the Final Fantasy family, to this point now, which is obviously your character and Alisaie everyone's going to be talking about this weekend. Obviously, there's going to be cosplayers around. What is that moment like for you, putting that all in perspective?
It's huge. It's huge for me. I've done lots of different things in my career, but it's been the most impactful casting I've ever had. It's had a massive, genuinely massive impact on my life and how I see my career going forward. You know, actors don't get jobs that last as long as this. So actually to journey with Alisaie for this long, and we didn't know the day we got the job, we didn't know whether it would be a few months or a few years, and I think it's 8 years or so now. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to grow with a character. You know, that doesn't happen very often for actors, so I feel really grateful for that.
And you know, being here at Otakon, of course you'll see cosplayers. What do you think that moment's going to be like, the first person you see cosplaying as Alisaie today?
Huge, because they're choosing to cosplay Alisaie, you know, which is amazing, out of everyone. And there are a lot. And the other thing that struck me is how much effort, like how much love people put in. And I'm getting to know the fans. I'm talking to them a bit more about how I think the minute the con finishes, they start thinking about the next one. I've really started to realise that, and they sew everything, and it's just, they put so much time and energy and money into it, and I think it's so much more than just a costume, you know. It's a journey and it's a choice to play that character, and so it will be special. Really special.
And you know, could speak for my cosplay friends because I don't cosplay, but you know, it's definitely a measure of honor and respect for not only the character but the folks that bring the character life, such as yourself. So expect to see a lot of emotional people approach you and giving grace, and it's just getting started. Otakon's going to be around for a long time, and you know, you hopefully will be back for many years.
Thank you.
Being in D.C., you talked about the tall buildings. Just peeking a little bit at your journey on social media here. What was some of your favorite parts about D.C.? The monuments, the food, the people. What was some of your favorite things?
Oh, it's been amazing. We did some sightseeing. It's just, we did it by foot. We did it on foot on purpose so that we could walk through, you know, and I've met some amazing people. Somebody said to me yesterday, who's one of the most interesting people that you'd met, and it was literally a lady in a shop who served me, but she was fascinating and I loved her, and she was so warm, and that's what's really struck me is the warmth. They are just such beautiful people that live here, and it's when you're a long way from home, you know, it means a lot when someone is welcoming and kind, and there's a lot to see huge, beautiful buildings, amazing food. But actually, it's been people's kindness that has really struck me most. And when I'm messaging my kids and folks at home, I'm saying, you know, we've had the most amazing welcome above and beyond the convention, as you know, just by the locals. It's been really special.
Yeah. I love that for you.
Thanks.
And yes, I focused a lot about your voice acting, but that's not the limit of your talent. But just thinking about your career, thinking about artistry, thinking about acting, voice acting, accumulating all into this point. Could you ever imagine that beyond just, you know, getting in the booth or being on screen or being on stage, these different things, that it could lead you to a convention that is here? I don't know what the record count is for this year yet, but I know we had a massive number last year. But did you ever imagine it could lead you to this opportunity? No,
I really didn't. And you know, actors are sort of lone islands quite a lot. We work alone. We work alone in the booth, and you know, I think there's a big misconception that all actors are extroverts. So this is a lot for Colin and I, because we're both quite introverted, and we're both we quite like each other actually. Yeah. So there are some real pinch me moments, like some real pinch me moments. Yeah. It's and it's not just the sheer number of people. It's what it means for us with our career as well. Yeah. It's amazing. And when you then meet special people, and even the team here, like, they're looking after us so beautifully, and it's just, it means a lot. It really does.
I love that for you as well too.
Thanks.
And you know, I want to talk about the mixing bowl of skills you have, and obviously give you a moment to kind of spotlight other projects and other things you may be involved with without anybody being mad, any embargoes or anything like that. But is there any projects you can't talk about that you're working on currently?
Not voice, interestingly. I'm going back to theatre next year.
All right.
I'm going to do some Shakespeare,
which
is my heart. Yeah. You know, it's where I started. And I'm going to be doing Midsummer Night's Dream next summer, playing Titania, which is going to be really exciting. So I haven't been on stage for a long time, so that will be different. And I think the voice world is so unique. And it's the same skills, it's the same heart, it's the same sort of giftings and training that we're using, but that's one of the things I love about this industry, is you get to be malleable, versatile, you know. And I'm really grateful for that. So, but voice stuff, who knows? Who knows?
Listen, it's something really important I want to talk about, and I totally remember in prepping for the interview, I was like, I'm gonna be nervous talking to her because her voice is so soothing, and obviously your time in doing audiobooks and Audible, which I just left San Diego Comic-Con, and with the writer's strike, put a focus back on other mediums in terms of artistry, in terms of voice acting and animation and audiobooks, which is a big medium that a lot of folks still aren't talking about, something that you absolutely have your feet completely in. Could you talk about this realm of media, how important it is, and just really, how'd you get into it?
It was my training ground, really. The first job I ever had when I came out of drama school was a contract with the BBC doing radio plays and audiobooks, and we were thrown scripts every week, you know, and we were having to play multiple accents and ages, and there was no time to think. And I think pretty quickly it got me over that paranoia of, am I good enough, or can I play this, can I play that? And you just get on with it, you just do the job. So I loved that, and I've done a lot of it since. There's a lot of people out there who can't make it to theatre, they can't necessarily make it to the cinema, and actually audiobooks are very popular. There's a real community of people that use them all the time, especially older people, actually. There's a lot of people who are stuck indoors, and it means a lot to them, actually. So I love doing it, and I love having nothing other than my voice. It's exciting to me to think I have to, with breath and my body and my energy, I have to somehow make this world come alive. And that's so important with audiobooks.
There's podcasts, which is really popular, but audiobooks is absolutely that experience of not seeing anything visual, but it's so stimulating that your brain takes you to these images. And I think now, especially with the strike, which of course we stand in solidarity with our fellow actors and writers, but I think it's going to really change one's focus and maybe really get that market really booming. It's something that I always like to say that the UK knew before the US did in terms of how popular and how successful it can be. And again, at San Diego Comic-Con, there was a lot of voice actors and artists, shall I say, as well, who really dove into the audiobook space, and I'm excited. So I knew, like, you know, talking to you about it, I was like, yeah, you know, like, yeah, I've done this, you know. They'll catch along at some point.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so, but anyway, for my final question, being at the con now, you have a long weekend. What are you the most excited for in terms of your participation this week?
Do you know what it is? It's meeting people one-to-one.
Okay.
With the signings. Like, it's something I hadn't had experience of before I started doing these cons, and it was quite overwhelming when I first realised, because you can do the massive interviews and that stuff. I love that stuff. Yeah. It's fun. That's super fun. Yeah. But actually, it's the one-on-ones. You know, when you meet people face to face and you hear where they've come from, and you see what it means to them, and you can feel the kind of level of emotion. And I've noticed, like, when I go back into studio now to record Alisaie, it's shifted that up a gear, because I know what every line means, you know, and my contact with people on social media and that stuff. But people are telling me, you know, there are particular lines that have helped them emotionally, and that's such a blessing as an actor to be able to play that part. So when I meet people, they often say things like that, and that takes the con to a whole other level for me. Right
on. Well, Bethan, listen, I know this is your first, but hopefully you are back for many more. But welcome to Otakon, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Audiobooks.